Welcome back to Intelligent Investment Today, the podcast concerned with all things value investment. In each episode, we take a different problem from today's investment landscape and look to shed light upon it through applying the rules of value investment as laid down by the father of the craft, Benjamin Graham. In this episode, we should be considering one of the serious pitfalls those new to investment are liable to come up against. Specifically, I'm talking about the dangers in the investment world of false prophets. Individuals that will espouse investment ideas or techniques which may have little or no basis to them and may deliberately be making exciting promises in order to make financial gain. This episode intends to arm the novice investor with the street smarts to be on guard against outlandish promises of instant stock market gratification. It will also offer alternative avenues for those looking for investment frameworks that have stood the test of time. So without further ado, let's get right on with it. Sit back and prepare for another dose of value investment as prescribed by Benjamin Graham. It now seems like an everyday occurrence that whenever I get treated to an ad break on YouTube, it's pretty much the same. Some tan guy or another with well-coiffured hair sitting by a seafront pool who claims he only works a couple of hours a day, telling me how easy it is to live a lifestyle like his. But he is not happy keeping the secret to his success to himself. Oh no, he will not be truly happy until I too can live a lifestyle like his. How very kind of him. Just a small catch, and I'm sure you saw this one coming. You need to pay him a fee for his secret. Now, full disclosure here, I've never paid any of these guys their fee, so I don't know what their secrets actually are. So I cannot say for sure that his prescription for financial success is not worth the money. But I'm sceptical, to put it as mildly as I can. The thing that really rouses my suspicions with all the guys who have popped up unannounced during my ad break is the production value of it all. Clearly, a lot of effort has gone into those adverts, and it's clearly using the same sales technique as the luxury perfumiers do to warrant a price tag of $100. It is tempting people into purchasing a product by promising the buyer an entree into a certain elite lifestyle. I can understand totally why, to the uninitiated, these gurus might seem an exciting and intriguing prospect. I of course know that the majority of listeners to this podcast are experienced investors and would instantly recognise obvious get-rich-quick schemes like this when they see one. But of course not all modern investment frameworks are the get-rich-quick schemes that I am algorithmically disposed to receive on YouTube. But just because they're not, and they may well be put forward by clever, serious and well-intended individuals, it doesn't always make them worthwhile from an investment viewpoint. The issue is the vast majority of frameworks that have been put forward over the years have presumably worked in certain conditions, but are unlikely to do so over the long term. You could fill a room with out-of-print books from the last 50 years from a wide range of serious investors who promised market-beating returns. But the majority of these books are out of print for a reason, and the reason is the framework quickly became extinct. What worked well for them in a very specific set of market conditions stopped working. Out of the thousands of books that have been printed on stock market investment, we've been left with just a handful of survivors. These are books, of course, like The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, but also books like One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch, Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits by Philip Fisher, all of which are still in print many decades after first being published. They're still in print because they've been proven to work year after year in all market conditions. We can tell this because if they had stopped working, people would have stopped buying the books. Simple as that. Time has done what it always does to works of published literature. Flushed out the garbage and left us with the really good stuff, the stuff that is worth reading. This is of course not to say that everything written today on stock market investment is rubbish. Clearly the works I mentioned above were also new once upon a time. But what I am saying is the investor will do best to start off with the time-tested stuff. Simply because most of us only have so much time, and why waste it reading something that hasn't first been tested out by millions of others? They have done the hard work for you. Reading the investment classics first will also give you the background required to be able to judge the really good contemporary works out there. Just in the same way, anything written today from the non-fiction sphere must be compared to Dickens, Orwell or Twain to know if it's truly good or bad. So what exactly can we conclude from today's podcast? The advice is first and foremost to erect a wall of scepticism around any investment advice pro-offered, especially if that advice comes in the form of a supposed secret, whose revelation comes at a price. Remember, there are no quick or easy ways to make money on the stock market, or anywhere else for that matter, and anyone who pretends differently is either a fool or a charlatan. Making returns on the market is long-winded and difficult, but for some reason that's not the sort of secret people are willing to pay to unlock. More is the pity. There are plenty of time-tested books on investment out there, covering many different styles of investment. The longevity of these books is a testament to the durability of the investment framework on offer. Of course, I'm an advocate of the Benjamin Graham approach to investment, which is still relevant and useful 75 years or so later. But Graham is not the only show in town. Investors like Peter Lynch offer a very different approach that may suit different investors better, and his framework has similarly stood the test of time. Investors will do well, of course, to read as many classic investment books as they can. What they will notice is a large degree of overlap in the theories uncovered, even if in other ways the frameworks go their separate ways. And also, of course, keep an open mind to new ideas and theories out there, but do so with a degree of scepticism, and remember the vast majority of frameworks will fail over the long run. Ultimately, it comes down to a very simple bit of advice that many of us would have perhaps been told by our parents. If something seems too good to be true, then it most likely is. Nothing comes cheap or easy. If it did, everyone would be beating the market. And that is all for today, folks. I hope today's lesson, inspired by the teachings of Benjamin Graham, has taken you one step closer to being the intelligent investor you would like to become. We are all on this journey together, and there's always so much more we can learn from the man they called the Dean of Wall Street. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have, you know what to do. Please add to playlist in order that you'll be alerted the moment a new edition lands. I'm David Coombs. This has been Intelligent Investment Today. Until next time, stay safe and happy investing.